Hello and everyone, welcome back to Dax Electronic Repair. We're going to be doing an iPhone 11 Pro Max screen. This is the big bad iPhone 11 Pro Max. It's busted, but don't worry. We're going to do it. We're going to get it done. So, first thing we're going to do, got our panel lobes at the bottom. iPhones all have these two screws. Lets you release the screen from the frame or the housing of the iPhone. We're going to go ahead and speed this up because now we got to pry around the edges. You want to start, I like to start with a razor blade just to pop it up enough. You don't want to push that too deep because there are important things inside of there that you don't want to cut or short out. Once you get it pried up enough, you can get your little pick in there and just go all the way around. You don't got to be too gentle with these. You accidentally power it on sometimes. Watch where the ribbon cables are. Do not rip it off of there. You rip those cables, some of them are okay to rip because you're going to be putting new ones in, and some are not. The top ones are not. Those are for your face detection and all the other cool stuff of technology. All right, zooming in. So we're going to be getting the battery done first. You always want to unplug the battery first, because you're going to be putting metal things down inside of this very, very expensive phone. You put them in the wrong place, they will shoot sparks at you, and you will have a very expensive piece of garbage. So these are all pentalobe. We got 1, 2. These are holding the battery cable down. Go ahead and get them. Take them out. I always organize. You always want to organize your screws. They are different sizes and different places, so they need to go back in the holes they came out of. Battery connector is right there. Sometimes you can get your finger in there, fingernail. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you try that tool and it doesn't work. Then you flip it around and you use that same tool a different way, and then you win. All right, next thing we're going to do is get the cover for our ribbon cables that are to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 of them because I can count, so that's cool. 6 of them. Organize them as they come out. We're speeding it up because you don't need to watch me unscrew 6 screws for a long time. Yeah, we've got a retainer plate. Put that to the side, and you're going to look at which cables you're going to actually take out. That one is for the top of the screen stuff, ear speaker, face identification, that sort of thing. We are going to reuse that. We've got our new screen. First thing you want to do, plug it in. You don't have to plug in the top ear speaker and all that other stuff. We're just testing the screen. It'll work without that other ribbon cable hooked up. Nothing worse than putting a whole screen in and it's defective. So then you got to start all over again, and that's dumb. All right, put your battery, give her some juice. Press the go button. Bango. These newer iPhones take a little bit longer to press. You got to press the power button for longer. That's just a fun fact. All right, so we're just making sure it's powering all the way on. It does. That's good. So now we're going to take the top stuff off. This is the old screen. We need this whole assembly off the top here. We got 3 screws holding it on. One is a tri-tip, that one that I'm pointing at. The other 2 are Phillips. That guy. Yep, that's Phillips. That's Phillips. So get those unscrewed. And then we're going to go ahead and flip this up and over, back like that. There are a bunch of little tiny connections, little tiny ribbon cables to the parts that we are going to be swapping over, so you want to get some heat on it. I've got my heat gun at 100 degrees Celsius, hot enough to get the adhesive soft, but not hot enough to burn these components. Start prying. Do it gently. As you can see, those are little tiny cables. You can't see now because I'm pushing it too far. There you go. Come on. Who's running this camera? Get it together. This is the smallest little cable. You don't want to pry on it. You'll see here in a second when we pop it out. So don't pry on the cables. What I'm doing is actually prying on the actual components themselves, and even then you want to be real careful. These are paired to the phone itself, so if you try and replace them, you can't unless you can do some very, very good micro soldering, and even then I'm pretty sure you have to go to Apple and get it repaired, repaired back to the phone. All right, here's our new screen. We're going to go ahead and take the little, I don't know, little piece of plastic retainer clean area thing. I don't know what it's called. It doesn't matter. You can take that off. And each one of these has a little place and a little hole it will go into. It does have to go all the way down in because the top, when we flip it over, it has to sit flush. So if that little ring and on the screw holes themselves are not flush when you start putting your screws in them, you know something's not aligned properly. That's bad. It's going to make either things not work or it's going to put stress on things. And it's possible you'll even put a screw through one of the ribbon cables and completely destroy it. So don't do those things. All right, finally, we got the tri-tip. Little tiny guy. He's very small. He's small but mighty. He's important, so don't lose him. Magnetic tools are your best friends when you are repairing small electronics. All right, so now we are going to test the screen again. Nope, we're not. We're going to go ahead and get all the old adhesive off of there. I sped this up because it takes a little while. You don't need to watch me do it in real time. It's very sticky. Be careful when you're going around. There are little tabs that if you hit in the wrong way, you're going to bend or break them off. And also remember, you need to have your battery unplugged to do this, because if you slip with your tool, bad news of the bears. So next we have our new adhesive, and this is just to make the phone semi-waterproof. If someone tells you they have a waterproof phone, if Apple tells you that, or Samsung, don't put it in water. It's not. I trust that as much as I trust other things that I don't trust. So don't do it. It's maybe water resistant, but like I said, these are expensive phones. You really want to gamble to go fishing for that thing and find out that it is completely dead. All right, so this adhesive is kind of a pain sometimes. I kind of go around and push it down as I'm pulling the backing off. That one's not the prettiest. It doesn't matter. As long as it seals, as long as the tabs are in the right place, it will be just fine. And finally, we take the last backing off. It's backing. That's what it's called. I didn't remember earlier, but now. All right, so we're going to hook up all our components for a final test. I put the adhesive down first because it's just easier that way. If I test the screen and then I have to pull all the connections again to put the adhesive down. So I just put it down first. And what I'll do here in a second, once I've put that battery's back, actually put a metal tool right through there. So it's not actually making contact with the new adhesive, because once it goes down, it's a pain to get back up. Looks good. Just wanted to make sure it powers on. I actually unplug it to kill the power. I don't want it booting all the way up, and then plug it back in. And then we put the retainers and all the screws back in because we know it is good to go. And this is now final assembly. 6 screws. Finally the battery. 2 there. And now we're ready to mate the screen. Push the top in first. Make sure it's good, and then kind of work your way down. Be gentle. If it's not sitting right, do not force it. You will crack the screen. And finally, we put our 2 pentalobe screws to complete the assembly. And then we do that, and then we do it the right way. 1 and 2. And then final test. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it gonna up? We win. Thumbs up, double thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. That was very nice of you. I love you all, but you knew that.